Hey, it's Ben here in Wichita, Kansas, and I wanted to go over the spring housing market update real quick. I'm just going to screen share and go over the report here. If you would, please like, comment, subscribe to this. If you got any questions, feel free to comment on here, and we'll start a discussion from there. Also, send me your email, and I'll send you this report for everything to go over from there. So with that, let's go ahead and get right into it. Oh, and pay attention to the end to hear for my bonus piece that I got for you for the solution to everything going on right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And actually, I'm just gonna share with you the report we use. So this Keeping Current Matters report is what we go over on a national scale. I'm gonna give you an overview of it all, save you a bunch of time so you don't have to read it all. But the thing is, we've actually had home sales go up by 6% from last year to this year. To 2020. So despite the pandemic and everything going on, everything's super strong still. One of the biggest things that we look at is we have a projected forecast of about 5%. And if you follow me at all, I'll tell you that your house appreciates anywhere from 5 to 8% because a lot of these projections are usually lower than what actually things actually appreciate at. So that's a good sign right there. Mortgage rates are plummeting for the last 2 years, but then they're starting to rise. Right now they're at about 2.87. Sorry, they were at about 2.875. Now they're starting to rise up to like 3.125, depending on your credit and your situation. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it makes a big difference when it comes to your situation and what you're dealing with. So that's one thing to consider. Rising housing, rising interest rates is a good thing. Shows a strong economy, strong buyer demand. Let's see. So a large portion of why this is going on is that people are waiting for health concerns. There's a graphic I'll show you here in a sec of why people didn't list in 2020. And most of it had to do with financial uncertainty of their job, health concerns, and everything was just a little too crazy right now. So as things start to normal out this year, things start to roll back and we get the vaccine out and other things return back to quote unquote normal, then we'll start to see more homes come back on the market. The other side of this that most people aren't considering is the fact that we move faster than we did before. And so houses don't stay on the market that long. And so it appears like we have less inventory, but the truth is we have a lot of inventory. It's just that people know their house is going to sell really fast once they put it on. So they don't put it on and we can't track it. We have all this shadow inventory saying that, showing on paper, it looks like we don't have inventory, but the truth is we do. It's just not listed yet. Hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of a complex concept for most people to understand. A lot of people are working more from home, so that definitely affects why and where people are buying from. I think a lot of employers are figuring out too, like they don't necessarily need all these workers they thought they did before or the physical space for them. So workers are working remote a lot more, basing things off of performance metrics instead of just, hey, you're in the office type of thing. It's more like, are you getting your job done? Because as long as you're getting your job done, that's all we care about. Let's see, what else is there to consider? So this piece right here, top 3 reasons homeowners didn't put their house on the market: financial uncertainty from their job situation, not from the housing market. Life is too uncertain right now, all this craziness going on back and forth, and then COVID-19 health concerns. So this health crisis just kind of slowed us down a little bit, but in all reality, it spiked the price of the housing market. And if you know anything about appraisals, they're all based on a year's worth of comps beforehand. So if all the comps from the previous year sold for here, that's the new standard of the bar that things sell at. And all it's going to do is continue to rise from there. The other piece of this is we're not going to go into recession because if you look at what's going on with all the forbearance plans, 51% of them are paid in full, 33% are in payment plan, 15% are in trouble. But what that means is they're going to have a no loss mitigation plan, i.e. they're just going to sell their house. Like instead of it going into foreclosure, they have enough equity, we've had enough appreciation, they're just going to sell their house, for an amount, but it's not going to be a super distressed low rate on everything. There's only about 2% of this that is really in such a bad spot that it's going to go to short sale and foreclosure. And honestly, that's about normal for any given market situation. So there's all that. Most houses aren't going to have to go to foreclosure. They're just going to be sold. Let's see. Houses are more affordable than ever these days. And a lot of that is because of the debt to income required. And a lot of that has to do with the interest rate with everything. So whoever is saying that houses are so expensive is just not understanding the full situation of what most typical mortgage payments are. And the thing is, these are locked in for the next 30 years. And so it's like, even if you went and bought and sold your house over and over, your monthly payment is going to stay the same amount. Just keep transferring the equity over to each next house that you go into. That's the smart way to get ahead these days, is to sell your house every 3 to 5 years, keep your monthly payment the same, but keep cashing out on the equity, because the equity is not actualized until it's sold into the market. All that, spring and buyer seller guides, and then a whole bunch of different graphs. I don't want to bore you too much all this. Again, if you want their support, let me know. I'll email it to you. You can have it to really dig through on everything. Let me get to anything else that's significant to actually show you. New homes selling fast, total home sales. You can see the big V shape as predicted on everything. Distressed property sales, this is a good one. As you can see, like, it's a downward trend. It's not going to change at all as far as distressed properties go. Existing home prices have been increasing about 13% in the Midwest. So this is, again, where I show you like existing home prices year over year by region. All those projections are very conservative at 3 to 5%. This is what they actually are. So they're actually way higher than what they always say they are. So that's why I usually say 5 to 8%, and that's still conservative on what they'll actually appreciate by. Because as you're seeing here, the appreciation is actually like 11 to 19%, depending on the region you live in. On average, the U.S. is 13%. So again, 5 to 8% is conservative. It actually came out to 12% across the entire U.S. Let's see, depends on your price point, how much it changed to, from 250 to 500. You know, obviously the higher end price points change the most. Let's see what else we got here. Significant housing inventory. I don't know how many different ways I can show you this, but this is the big one here. This is a 10-year trend have been going on of shortage of inventory. This isn't a new thing. It's been going on forever, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with the fact that we have an inventory shortage. It's that we have a listed homes for sale shortage is what it is. But we actually have homes that would be sold. They're just sitting in inventory, and our homes sell faster. Our processes move faster. It doesn't take weeks and months to sell a house anymore. It takes hours and days. And so because of that, it's going to look like we consistently have less homes on the market. But if you look at how many things are sold, we just need to change the frequency of looking at these houses, like the time frame we look at it. So instead of saying like, oh my gosh, we have 2 months of inventory, that's so low, we need to be starting to look at weeks of inventory and scaling down how we look at housing market inventory. So we just got to change with the times. We move faster than ever. So same thing here. Again, it's in months of inventory homes for sale. We need to do it in weeks anymore, because that's how fast homes sell. Like, it doesn't take months to sell a house like it used to. Just because our marketing, our internet, our technology, everything's so much better, things move faster. So these stats are kind of skewed when you look at it that way. Months inventory homes for sale continuing to decrease, but honestly, we're not in any dire situation whatsoever. Just if you look at just this data, it might make you think we're in that situation, but we're not. Let's see if there's anything else to go over. Not really. Everything else we pretty much covered. So that's pretty much our spring market update right now. I'm going to see, like we always do in the spring, a pickup in buyer activity, but you're also going to see more sellers come out there. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a better time to sell. It just means there's more activity. So you're going to have more competition, so higher standards. So you have more buyers, but there'll be more sellers. So it's just going to get busier than ever. And just warmer weather. People like to move in the spring better. It's just more convenient, it's more comfortable. So that's the time to do it. Thanks for watching. Oh, here's the solution. I almost forgot. So the bonus solution at the end, this is how this whole thing gets solved. And this is really the big situation going on right now. There is a ton of equity in the boomer generation and the older generation's houses that needs to be liquidated in order for our economy and our country to cash flow appropriately. Right now, that money is sitting stagnant in their equity, and they're just sitting on their cash. And in order for our entire economy to move forward, we need them to sell their house to cash flow the economy. Right now, by them sitting on just that, all that equity and not moving into a new house, not moving up into where they should be in the next one, it's actually stalling and stagnating the entire economy. So boomers, hate to call you out, be that direct on it, but it's the truth. If you want this whole thing to go well, you need to sell your house so the next generation can buy that house to move up, and it has a whole trickle effect up. So I hate to say it, but if you're just sitting on your house, paid for, which even that's fine. If it's paid for, you can literally transfer the equity to the next house, but we need you to sell to continue this thing to cash flow like it's supposed to, so that the whole generation can benefit, the whole country can benefit as a whole. I know that's a giant statement to make, but it's the truth. If you look at the data over the next 10 to 15 years, it's going to happen because people are going to pass away and those houses are going to need to be sold, or something is going to need to be done with them. So that's really the truth right now, is we need this country to cash flow through the form of home sales and equity being sold. And that's really the solution to this housing inventory situation we have going on. We need more boomers selling their houses. We need more of the older generation to liquidate the equity in their houses so that the country can cash flow appropriately. And I know if you're a business owner, most of you will understand that situation, what we're talking about right now, but we have a bunch of stagnant cash, stagnant money just sitting in equity in houses, and it needs to be liquidated so this whole economy can cash flow better. But that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you got any questions, feel free to directly comment to me, and I'll reply to them all. And then if you would, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe on this, and we'll go from there. See ya.